Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome to the social computing course in the fall semester. I'm assuming this is probably your first or second evening class for this semester, and you guys are all ready and excited about the social computing course. I'm going to introduce myself so that you know who I am, and I'll be your instructor for the social computing course. And in a moment, I will introduce the syllabus and then also go around our virtual room to have everyone introduce themselves. So some of you already know who I am, but just for everyone knows, I am Dr. Nitin Agarwal, Malden Energy Chair and Donaghy Distinguished Professor at UL Little Rock. I am also the founding director of Cosmos Research Center at UL Little Rock and also a statewide research center approved by Arkansas Department of Higher Ed. Before I go any further, just wanted to have a quick check with everyone if you had heard of Cosmos Research Center before today. How many of you had heard of that? Roshika says yes, of course, Roshika. Anyone else? Daniel. Okay, good to know. So a lot of James also fantastic. Um, so I believe a lot of folks are going to learn about Cosmos now and what is Cosmos, what it does, etc., and all the research things that go on in Cosmos. Um, well, I'll briefly introduce or talk about Cosmos, but this is actually a social computing course, so I will get to the social computing course in a moment and spend more time on that introduction. Um, So Cosmos stands for Collaboratorium for Social Media and Online Behavioral Studies. This is a research center that I established almost a decade and a half ago. And as you can imagine, social media has been quite prominent since then. So we need this type of research that understands human behavior, social behaviors that manifest on social media platforms, and simultaneously, as they evolve in our digital and communication platforms, the type of things that we see there, how we can understand them better, how we can understand those changes for better or for worse. Right, so I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of things on social media platforms, also in news, maybe more recently, the all the types of uses, the good, bad, and ugly of social media. So we are going to cover all of that in our course. But not so much as journalistic or anecdotal evidences, but more importantly, how we can understand those behaviors, how we can computationally examine those behaviors at scale at different societies and different societies, and also model and maybe even do some predictive analysis or forecasting. So Cosmos does a lot of work in these areas. I have over 3 dozen projects in Cosmos that are all funded by various federal funding agencies, mainly through the U.S. Defense Department, all the wings, including Air Force, Army, Navy, DARPA, and also non-DoD funding agencies such as National Science Foundation, NSF, um, Department of Homeland Security, um, and locally from Entergy Corporation as well as Arkansas Research Alliance, to the tune of over $30 million for all these projects that encompass a variety of things. As I mentioned, broadly categorized into good, bad, and ugly. So things like social movements, collective actions, democratization of content, democratization of societies, but also some nefarious behaviors like deviant behaviors like violent mobs, influence operations, adversarial campaigns, and more recently, something that we have come to terms with, which is cognitive warfare, how to influence your adversaries' behaviors and beliefs and their decision to act and so on, right? So there will be a lot of things that will be discussed in this course. But I know that this is only one 3 credit course for a semester. So of course, all this can be, converted to a full degree program. So we will try to give you the breadth, but for depth, we will give you a lot of pointers in this course. So that way, if you're interested to know more about any of those aspects, you have plenty of touch points or links to explore, papers to read, and some of those will be from Cosmos, but many of those will also be from other research groups or research institutions. And as I mentioned, our primary funder is U.S. Defense Department. So those are also our clients, including the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, also known as NATO, um, but also U.S. Defense Department, variety or various units in that, um, including Special Operations Command, and not only just in US, but also in European sector, North American sector, Canadian, etc., but also very prominently in the Indo-Pacific or Southeast Asian places. So we have a lot of research partners as well as operational partners who help both in the research as well as operationalizing our research in the field, right? So I'm going to talk a lot about these things in the coming weeks. That will give you an idea of how we conduct research in this area of social computing. But most importantly, we focus on making sure that the research that is conducted is also usable through various tools. So you will find some of those tools also available through the Cosmos, such as tracking blog discourse, tracking video or blog discourse, etc. And if you're interested to know more about Cosmos and the tools that we have, the projects, then I encourage you guys to visit our website, which is cosmos.ulr.edu. Right? So there you will find a ton of information, including the papers, the projects, the tools, the team, um, yeah, and where each one of us come from, and so on. All right. So that is a little bit of introduction about me, the Cosmos. But for the course, I want to go over the syllabus. But before I do that, I see there are a lot of students in this class. So I want to go over each one and have you introduce yourself and also tell us what's your program. You're in undergraduate or graduate studies. What's your program level? Are you a senior or a junior? If you're in a graduate program, then are you in a master's or a PhD program? And also tell us your interest or your expectations from the social computing course, right? So what I can do is I can start off from the names in the order that they are appearing in my student list, participant list. And as I read out your name, please unmute yourself and introduce yourself and make sure that you address the things that I asked. So first on my list is Adeyemi Ayorinde. If you can hear me, please go ahead and mute yourself and introduce.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
My name is Adeyemi Ayorinde, and I'm a graduate, graduate student, the Business Information Systems and Analytics Department. Yeah, so basically my expectation from this course is probably to gain practical skills. I expect to learn how to analyze and interpret social data using various computational tools and methods, and also to probably understand human technology, how they kind of like interact. I just want better understanding in the how online communities, uh, social media, and digital platform can affect human behavior and decision making. Basically, that's just basically my expectations.
Sounds great, Adeyemi. Then I will say that you are in the right place. Perfect. Thank you for the introduction. Um,
Thank,
We will
thank you.
go to the My pleasure. We'll go to the next student in my list, which is Bishwa Prakash. Please go ahead, Bishwa.
Hi, myself Prakash Suvedi, and I am a master student of information science. And from this course, I expect to be able to um, analyze various social media, social data related items in order to contribute towards research we are doing in Cosmos.
Great. Thank you for that, Bishwa. Next, we have Daniel.
Hello, my name is Daniel Noble. I'm in the Masters of Information Science program, and I'm excited to learn about more how information spreads online and different ways of visualizing and conveying that spread.
All right. We'll certainly cover some of that aspects in information diffusion as well as a little bit more abstract concept of narrative contagion. So stay tuned for those lectures. They will be coming up very soon. All right. Next on our list is Dirat. I'm not sure if I pronounced correctly. Dirat, please correct me if I'm wrong.
It's Darrett.
Barrett.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My name is Darrett Miranda. I'm an undergrad in web design and development. What I'm expecting to learn from this class is seeing how social behaviors on social media affect websites are developed and how we interact with websites.
Ah, nice. Um, Not sure how much of the development of websites we will discuss in this course, but you will certainly see various characteristics of different social media platforms, and hopefully that will give you enough inspirations to develop your own or what you are expecting. Okay. Next, we have Hakan. Please go ahead.
Hello, I'm Hakan. I started my PhD in computer and information science this fall, and it's quite new for me, everything. What I expect from this course is, I'm not really sure really, but I'm more interested in the machine learning and AI stuff, so we'll see how I want to see how social media is related to AI and machine learning, and yeah, that's overall, I think.
Sounds good. So you'll definitely see the impact of AI on social media when it comes to deepfakes and all sorts of synthetic content. But also, you will see how AI itself can be used to combat some of that type of a behavior when it is put to adversarial use. So, both things will be covered. Fantastic. Next, we have James.
Hi, James. My name is James Dempsey. I am a senior in computer science. I am the chair for the ACM at UALR. And from this class, I'm kind of interested in a lot of the case studies, like the GameStop stock that happened that spawned from Reddit back in, I think, like 2020 or 2019, around that time. So learning about stuff like that.
Awesome. Fantastic. So that will definitely be a dedicated lecture on that, how mobs, whether it is an online mob or a physical mob, emerge and become successful, or sometimes they fail. So the GameStop thing that you mentioned, that is certainly was a successful instance of a digital or a flash mob. So you're definitely going to see some work on that. Cosmos has a lot of projects and various publications on that. So you may want to take a gander on the website and see, if you can find some nice publications to read. Good. Next, we have John. Go ahead, John.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. My name is John Van Brocklin. I'm an undergraduate and a senior in web development and design. I think what I'm mostly excited to learn or expecting to learn is just how data collection from social media sites and using like the various softwares that you use in here, like it's crawlers and APIs, and how it creates a more in-depth understanding And obviously Cosmos. That sounds interesting as well.
Cool. You will be surprised that we will have 3 dedicated lectures just for data collection. So you will get a whole breadth of collecting data from a variety of social media platforms. And if you're interested in Cosmos, I will definitely encourage you all to check out the website. And I am recruiting. So if you're interested in positions and the work in social computing area, feel free to check out those positions. And if you have any questions, ask me. Or if you don't have anything to ask, go ahead and apply if you're interested. Right. Next, we have Katie.
Hello, I'm currently an undergraduate in my senior year as a web design and development major, and I'm mostly excited to learn about learn how to recognize behavior patterns and learn how to interpret them.
That's certainly a little bit of complex problem, but we are definitely going to talk a lot about that. Not just generic behavior, but very specific behaviors, things like hate speech, or misinformation, or community behaviors, community dynamics. So there'll be a lot of things that will be covered. So, but in more in terms of precise behaviors, sometimes individualistic, sometimes micro or macro in communities or societies. So yeah, but certainly this course will give you enough insights into uh, or references into how to search or look for further studies, further analysis. Mason, you're next.
Hello, my name is Mason. I'm a senior web design and development major, undergraduate. And I guess what I expect to learn from this course is just how people's general behaviors online as a group correlate to their behaviors kind of in person as well. I'm interested to learn about that.
Cool. That is a problem that has social scientists scratch their head. So I'm glad you're in the right place. We have a lot of projects on those, where online offline behavior correlation has been analyzed, especially in the social movement settings or collective action settings. So how things start online and then they transform or transcend into physical spaces. And sometimes it's the opposite or a mix of these type of spaces. So it's a very, very cool, complex problem. Um, Keeps all the researchers going. So that's good. Next, we have Mohammed Motasim. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Please go ahead.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is MD Mutasim Billah. I'm pursuing my master's degree in information science, and this is my second semester. I have a special interest in computing, like in this course, and as well as in your Cosmos lab, because
Nice.
I have been working in the fact-checking field, so I know it has some similarities.
Huh.
So I'm especially interested to learn the technological aspect of fact-checking.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad that you talked about the elephant in the room, huh? Social media and fact checking, they go hand in hand. There is so much of noise, so much of misinformation on social media, no matter which domain you talk about, whether it is health or games or news or even education. There is just so much of wrong information, untrustworthy. So we'll definitely take a look at some of those research and studies that have been done, not just from verification standpoint of the information, but also how it propagates in these networks. So there is a lot of work that is coming up. Cool. Next we have Roshika. Roshika, I do see that you have unmuted yourself, but somehow I'm not able to listen, not able to hear. Still nothing. Maybe what we can do is we can come back to you. You can, in the meantime, try to play with your microphone settings to see if sensitivity is too low, or if you can adjust that to make sure that your voice is heard. Or what you can do is you can also use the chat feature, and you can type who you are, which program you're in, and your expectations from the course. You can use the chat feature, and then I can read it out loud for everyone. All right. So while Roshika is doing that, let me share my screen and go over the syllabus. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Okay, now let me ask you guys: do you see the syllabus window that I haven't opened on my screen? Does everyone see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Fantastic. This is also available on our course Blackboard. So if you haven't had a chance to go through that, that's not an issue. I'm going to go over this in depth today. But just as a matter of check, do you guys know how to browse through the course Blackboard and see all the things where they are? Or do you guys need a quick tour of the course Blackboard page?
I actually may need a quick tour because I don't see any of the assignments or anything in the Blackboard. Like I see the folders for them, but I don't see anything inside.
Good, because they're empty. So I haven't added anything there. Yeah, this is just a skeleton. So these are the places where you will get everything. But as we proceed in the course, these will be released at appropriate times. And when I do that, I will make an announcement that assignment 1 or assignment 2 is released. Go ahead and look it out. So all of that will be made available. But since you mentioned, let me still go through the course tour. Share a window. Yes. This window. Oh, mirror and mirror. Okay. Well, I hope you can see the course Blackboard page. Okay. Assuming that you guys can see the course Blackboard page, it's pretty straightforward. This is where you will see everything pop up. Syllabus is at the top, and university policies and resources, the second one. You can click them to open, download these files. All the lecture notes, lecture materials, references, papers, articles, anything that has to do with the lectures that will be covered in this course will be made available in the lecture materials folder. Currently it is empty, so as we keep adding things, they will start showing up here. The next is assignment. Of course, as I said, there is nothing available yet. So as soon as I release the first assignment, I'm going to make an announcement. So that way you can go and check the assignment with appropriate deadlines and so on. Usually we have 2 weeks for each assignment as a deadline. We don't have a lot of assignments because we will do a course project in 3 phases. So that's where most of the time will be spent. All right. So similarly for the course project, all the details will be made available in the project folder. You may have noticed that there is no exam or nothing, right, for this course. So we will discuss about that also, how we are going to do that. The other thing is here on my right, you can see this Classroom Collaborate. So that's where I think you've clicked to join the session, but you can also click on the three dots to go to the recordings. So the recordings are available here, and this is just a dummy recording from this morning, but tonight's lecture recording, etc., and all the recordings will be available here, and you can download. Right. Yeah. Any questions so far? Okay. Right. All right, now we'll go through the course syllabus. So first things first, you all know the class hours, so you all know me now. We are going to do this course entirely through Blackboard Collaborate, but I do hold my office hours both virtually as well as in person, because sometimes you realize as we get closer to the end of the course and you're working on your projects, you may need to show things or get a more hands-on help. So regardless, throughout the semester, you will see that I have both in-person office hours as well as virtual. So from Friday 1 to 2 p.m., you will notice that. So if you are coming in person, just drop by EIT 603, and that's where Cosmos Research Center is located. And virtual office hours, the Zoom link is provided. So you click that link and it should take you to the Zoom session, which I open just a few minutes before Friday 1 p.m. Central. And typically, as students trickle in, I place them in the waiting room. And as I go through one student at a time, then I bring in students from the waiting room to the main session. Preferable means of communication is email. So I provide my email here. You can directly email me. You can also email it through Blackboard. However, Blackboard sometimes does not send the emails unless you go to Blackboard and check. Or when you're sending an email, you have to check one box that says send this as an email also. So make sure that you do that if you're sending messages through Blackboard, or just simply send me an email on my ull.edu account. You can also find more information about me through my webpage. So you can click here, it should take you to my webpage with all the details that you need. For this course, we also have two teaching assistants, Monurul and Marina. They're also both here with us virtually. So I would like to ask them to briefly introduce who they are and what they're working on, which is relevant to social computing.
I can go first. Am I audible?
Yes, Marina, go ahead.
So hello everyone, I'm Marina Gurung. I am PhD candidate in computer and information science, and I also work as a graduate research assistant in Cosmos Research Center, of course headed by Dr. A. And like he said, I'm going to be TA for this course. I work in narrative analysis project, and I see that some of you are interested in it, so I'm very excited. So yeah, basically in this project, I look at different ways that we can extract narrative and different kind of platform and different, like be it text or videos, photos. So, and of course how narrative disseminate in social media, and we will have one of the lectures regarding it. So yeah, I hope all of you will enjoy the course and learn a lot from it. Thank you.
Thank you, Marina. Monurul, please introduce yourself quickly.
Hey everyone, am I audible, Dr. A?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Hi everyone, this is MD Monarul Islam, and I'm a graduate research assistant at Cosmos Research Center. And I'm also doing my PhD, and I'm in my third year of PhD. I'm doing research in content trap. Basically, it's like finding homogeneous content in the recommendation engine and how can we detect them, and also how to mitigate them so that we make a fair recommendation engine for all the social media. That's mostly my research, and thank you.
Thank you, Manoj. All right, and I've also provided the email addresses for our TAs. They will come in very handy when you start working on your projects, your assignments. So please do not hesitate to email the TAs if you have any questions. And I would actually go as far as suggesting, if you are emailing me with any concern or anything or any question, please CC them. One of us will definitely get in touch with you as soon as we see your email. Um, so having all of us will be helpful. So email me and make sure that you copy the teaching assistants. All right. So there is really no prereq for this course. The main thing that we need from you is that you must be aware of what social media platforms are, what is social media, and if you have basic programming knowledge, that will be helpful. That will help you when you start doing your projects. It is definitely not mandatory because we will also cover some tools that will allow data collection, analysis, visualization, etc. So you can definitely rely 100% on the tools, but every now and then you will find that tools have limited capabilities when it comes to doing things your own way in a scalable or a fast manner. So that's where programming languages or libraries such as Python libraries and so on come in really handy. So if you have familiarity with those, it will make your life easier in this course, but definitely it's not a deal breaker. If you don't have that knowledge, you can still do well in this course, get an A. So what this course is going to do is to introduce state-of-the-art developments or emerging developments in mining social media to support business intelligence, decision making, and so on. What are the emerging challenges and opportunities with social media? Will give you analytical skills to enhance understanding of the data, prepare you to learn innovative applications of multidisciplinary approaches to solving real world problems as we perceive on social media platforms. So, some people talked about fact checking or things like mob behaviors, GameStop, so on. So, such type of things definitely are benefited through multidisciplinary perspectives. So, we are going to look into those. In fact, some of the work that we have conducted brings together social scientists, cognitive scientists, um, to look into such type of complex problems, right? Okay. I'll skip the course description part because I believe um, you guys are well aware of all the problems and challenges that are plaguing social media platforms. So you can actually go through these. But of course, throughout the lectures, you will see a ton of case studies peppered throughout that will give you idea of not just concepts but applications of those concepts. So we will definitely cover some foundational concepts, but we will also show you through case studies how those concepts can be applied in real world data settings or real world problem solving settings to derive actionable insights from a ton of data that you can capture from social media platforms. So whether it is consumer behavior analysis or information campaigns, advertisement campaigns, or promotion of certain type of awareness campaigns. So all those type of things will be considered. Okay. Software. We try to use as much as possible open source software, or at least free or publicly available, freely available software, so that you don't have to buy expensive licenses or so on. So that's why we have listed some of those publicly or freely available software, open source, things like Gephi or Gephi, NetworkX, which is a Python library to analyze social network data. So we'll look into those. Some of the lectures will cover how to use these tools from both aspects. Gephi or Gephi is a tool that is highly user interface driven, so you don't need to know any programming language. But if you're doing things at scale, if you have several social networks and you want to analyze all of them at speed, then NetworkX, which is a Python library, you can program it and let it run, compute all the scores or compute all the things that you need to. So both will be taught in classes. One of the students mentioned data collection. So we will definitely go through a variety of data collection methods, such as social media APIs, looking at YouTube APIs, Reddit APIs, and some other methods where APIs are not available, then how to use web crawling services to collect data from websites, blogs, and even social media platforms, so on. One other thing that we do is go beyond just the surface web data, what is visible. We also go beyond that to capture metadata using something called social cyber forensics. So we use a tool called Martigo. So you will see some analysis on that, how to use that tool, what type of information can be captured, and what is it used for. So especially when you're studying covert information operations or campaigns that try to hide certain things, such type of analyses done by Martigo or social cyber forensics in general can help uncover those hidden links or hidden relations among individuals or among groups, among members of certain groups, and things like that. Social media data not only has network information, it also has a ton of content, and more specifically nowadays when you look at Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, a lot of multimedia content. So we are going to do a rich content analysis lecture also, where you will be seeing how to process all the text to mine sentiments, emotions, topics, clusters, both from machine learning and AI perspective, but also the multimedia aspect. So how to parse out the images, do object recognitions from the videos, how we can do that all in a streamlined, effective, efficient manner. YouTube has a ton of data, so how we can have more resilient or fast algorithms or information processing methods that can digest all that ton of information from YouTube and still spit out quite helpful or meaningful results. So think in terms of information compression technologies, right? So some of those will be discussed as well. If time permits, then we will also see some modern graph databases, which are falls into the arena of NoSQL or not only SQL databases that are heavily used by social media platforms to store their own data sets, right, or to store all their users' data. So all those are people who want to understand how to develop such websites. These type of concepts will come in handy, especially when you have large user base to support the application or to make sure that the application is fast enough given all the data load. So you need to use some of these advanced database concepts. Okay. I do not prescribe any textbook for this course, mainly because there is no one book that will cover all these concepts, especially in such a rapidly evolving space. So I have provided a collection of resources which should be readily available through ULR library. And again, you don't have to go out and buy each and every one of these books. Some of them are publicly available also, freely available through those web links. But what I would suggest is as we go through various lectures and you find something very interesting that you really need to look into, then go ahead and check out ULR library if they must have these books already, so that way you don't have to purchase any of these books. Besides, all the course material, lecture notes, everything will be shared online. So for the perspective of this course, for the scope of this course, you don't need to buy any of these books. So everything will be provided. But in case you want some advanced information, then these resources are helpful. Okay. This is a tentative list of topics. We have sort of 11 topics here, which we will be covering in, say, 14 weeks. So you can imagine almost, one topic per week. Given that we will also have some projects and other assignments, and some classes will be converted as hands-on exercises or hands-on classes to give you that much more familiarity with the concepts and practice on those. So this will be a very, very packed course. You will see a lot of topics, and all of them will be highly relevant to whatever you are interested in from this course, or you want to take away from this course into your capstone projects or master's thesis or PhD dissertations. So this will be, yes, a lot of information in this course. So starting from Intro to Social Computing, which most likely we will cover in the next class. We will also go into fundamental social science concepts, things like graph theories, sociometrics, various principles or phenomenon that we have in this domain, in this discipline. Brief overview of various social media platforms and Web 2.0, then also covering some concepts of Web 3.0, social media data collection through APIs and non-APIs, open source information extraction through Maltego and cyber forensics. Then all the data that we collect from these platforms and metadata can be visualized using a variety of visualization tools. We definitely will cover Gephi as well as NetworkX, but those are not just visualization, they are also network analysis tools. So we will definitely look at various concepts in network analysis to find central individuals or prestigious individuals, prestige nodes, identifying communities, identifying influencers in networks, or leaders or bridges between communities, information brokers in a network, and certainly look at group or crowd dynamics leading towards large scale communities or sometimes even small scale flash mobs. Storing network graph data using NoSQL databases or graph databases, a rich lecture on content analysis, including text mining, opinion mining, sentiment analysis, NLP, information fusion, multimedia analysis, AI, ML, all of that. As I mentioned, we will also be covering a lot of case studies, especially from Cosmos, where you will see how all the concepts that we will cover in these initial lectures can be put to use to study various world-inspired research questions, right? So that's where we'll see some of these emerging research topics. Also security, privacy, ethical aspects of socio-computational systems, implications of such systems, and so on, right? So yeah, and of course, if there is anything that is not here but you still would like us to cover, please let us know. Please let me know so that we can try to cover those things also, as long as they are within the scope of this course. Okay, I forgot that we will also go over some of the tools that we have developed in Cosmos. So things like what I mentioned, analyzing blog discourse through blog trackers, or analyzing video discourse through vTracker. So we'll cover those tools also, because that directly incorporates some of the research that is being done at Cosmos. So all that research has been transitioned to these tools. So you can also see how to use these tools to analyze a ton of data from various platforms. All right, let me take a brief pause here and see if there are any thoughts, questions. moving on, then the important thing of this course, the grading criteria, again, this is sort of tentative, and as we approach the end of this course, we will know better what will be a good breakdown for these weights. But typically, we have three components to evaluate your work in the course. The first one is homework assignments. So usually I have 2 or at most 3 homework assignments. So we'll stick to that format. These homework assignments test your knowledge absorption, that is through these lectures, followed by a course project, which will be again conducted in 3 phases, where not only we test your absorption, but application of those concepts. So after you learn these concepts, how you can apply those concepts in a real world context where you decide this is what I want to do as long as it fits within this course scope. And the concepts that you have learned throughout this course, you put them to test, put them to use in that context, and then you show what you can achieve in that course project. The 3 phases for the course project involve a project proposal, and then an intermediate project presentation or a intermediate project report, kind of a status check, and also a place where you can think about recalibration. Often we overpromise and underdeliver. So in those cases, a midpoint check is often a good way to set our expectations in a more realistic manner. So midpoint check will be sort of your intermediate report, and then there will be a final course project report and a presentation. Right. So these will also be comfortably placed in mostly 3 to 4 weeks gap. So that way you have plenty of time to work on these things as well as get good feedback from us so that you can calibrate or recalibrate if needed. Okay, so that is project. And then class participation. And again, this is a course that has all types of modalities: in-person, virtual asynchronous. So we will accommodate everyone's requirements, everyone's situation. So those who are participating in class, of course, as we do in-class exercises, or through your interactions via questions or sharing your thoughts, that will all help towards your class participation. The online students, they can also participate through Collaborate, or of course, emails are also a medium to assess your class participation. So for example, if you have a question you couldn't ask during the class, you can always email. People who are asynchronously participating, they can always email me their questions or thoughts after the class. So all of that will be counted towards class participation. Okay. All right, good place to take a pause and see if you guys have any questions. Okay. And as I mentioned, if you don't have any things to share now or to ask, feel free to do that later. If you think of something, hey, I wanted to know this, just send me an email. All right. Attendance expectation, all of this is sort of boilerplate. Make sure that you're attending the classes. If you have to miss a class, let me know beforehand. And of course, all the lectures are recorded, so you won't miss anything. But often it is good to attend the classes if you can, so you have live help. If you have any questions, you can ask right up front. For submissions of late work, we have a 7-day policy. So if it is just a couple of hours late after the deadline, I'm pretty flexible on that. But if it is late by almost 7 days, then there could be a penalty of up to 10%, plus maybe additional points if it is not accurate or the work is not at a satisfactory level. So take a look at this. Plagiarism, that's a very, very strict thing. Make sure that you're doing your own work. That also kind of begs me to bring this, which is the ChatGPT or OpenAI. So if you're using AI in your assignments or projects, then just put a disclaimer how it was used, whether it was used just to proofread your text or make sure that grammatically is correct, or was it used to generate ideas, or whatever it was, having a disclaimer to show the extent of usage of AI tools in your reports, in your assignments, that is needed. If you're not using, don't worry about it. Okay. Rest of it is pretty standard. I'm sure in other courses also you've had the inclement weather policy, communication expectations. So again, make sure you're checking your emails, you're checking Blackboard, lectures and recordings. If you have any questions or if you want to share something, please email me as well as the TAs, and we'll definitely get back to you as soon as possible, but definitely no more than 48 hours. You will hear from us within 48 hours, but in most cases, very soon. All right. Okay, so that's sort of all for the syllabus and policy. Do you guys have any questions on this or any thoughts? Okay. I also got a message from Roshika. So, she has put her introduction in the chat. So I'm assuming everyone can see the chat. Is that true?
Yeah, we can also do it.
Good. Otherwise, I was going to read her introduction. But since you all can see, Roshika couldn't introduce herself because of microphone issues. So feel free to read her introduction, what she is doing, etc. And thank you, Roshika, for that. Perfect. Okay. Any thoughts, any questions? Okay. Again, this course should be more interactive. It's called social computing, so we should be more social. If you have any questions or anything that you come across that is relevant to the course, feel free to share with the rest of the class. Again, this is a very, very emerging area, highly rapidly developing, evolving. Every day we see some new development in this area. Whether it is in terms of news or information or research. If you come across anything, feel free to share with the class, either through the email or during the lecture. Any thoughts or any comment is highly appreciated. Yeah. So that was all that I had prepared for tonight's lecture. Again, next week when we gather, we will have a deep dive into social media, familiarity, etc. So that way everyone, most of you are familiar, but even if there is someone who's not as familiar with social media platforms, next lecture will bring everyone on the same page. Besides, we'll also go through some ways on how the characteristics of these social media platforms, particularly with respect to this course in terms of how to conduct research on these platforms, on these social media platforms, how to collect data from these or the availability of data from these platforms. So all of that will be covered in the next lecture. So that way we are that much closer to our goal of analyzing data from social media in a more computational way. All right. Okay. Well, that will be all for tonight. And again, I encourage you guys to send me your questions, thoughts, if you have any after the class. As soon as we close the lecture, the recording will be available through the course Blackboard, the Collaborate link. So if you click those three dots, go to the recording, you should be able to watch the recording, download it if you need it. And if nothing else, then I will see you guys next week. Thank you.
All
You
right.
all have a great night as well.
Thank you. Good night.